Welcome to the VCA Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Marie Kerl. Join us as we dive into inspirational stories about our caring and capable associates and their commitment to guiding healing journeys for our patients. Our discussions explore the important ways VCA Animal Hospitals proactively supports the future of veterinary medicine through leading the industry in medical excellence and providing hometown care to our communities. On today's episode, I'm pleased to welcome Michelle Gonzalez. Michelle is a Certified Veterinary Practice Manager and also a VCA Senior Regional Operations Director in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Welcome, Michelle. How are you today?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much, Dr. Kerl, for having me.
Oh, thank you. I'm really honored to have you here. We're going to have a great chat. I'm just going to jump right into some questions. And I'd like to know about your career journey in veterinary medicine and with VCA.
Sure. I started about 30 years ago in the kennel. And I knew I was literally that applicant that said, I love animals. When they asked, Why do you want to work here? I love animals. That was it. So someone gave me an opportunity to work in the kennel. And I was going to technician school at night to be a technician. I was also a customer service representative at our front desk of our hospitals. I spent 20 years at my hospital that I was at and various positions in the hospital.
And which hospital was that?
This was University Animal Hospital in Tempe, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are a VCA hospital now.
Wonderful.
So that was amazing. And kind of just went through learning. I always wanted to learn, always wanted to grow and learn different things about the hospital and about veterinary medicine. So at that point came a hospital manager. And then from there, kind of leaped into the land of being a regional operations director and supporting multiple hospitals in different states.
So your current role is part of the VCA field leadership team. And you mentioned that you started in field management as a regional operations director. So what does that role involve and how did your role grow into its current senior regional position?
It has evolved through supporting our hospital teams and also supporting other regional operations directors. And so that is how it has grown into supporting, different hospitals in different states. And I have two amazing regional operations directors that I get the privilege to support also through this journey.
Was it difficult to go from being in one hospital to managing multiple hospitals?
It was at first to transition from one hospital because as a hospital manager, you know your hospital. You know everything about it. And particularly with my hospital, I was there from the first shovel in the dirt.
Wow.
So I knew where every, drain was and every HVAC unit. And I learned lots of different things. I learned how to put a water pump in, a water cooler. And so it was a big transition because now you don't know anything about these hospitals. And so getting to know them and know their flow and their function and their culture and all the team, in the hospital, coming from one hospital, you knew everybody in there. So that was probably one of the biggest transitions for me is not knowing everybody by name because I really love doing that.
Yeah, interestingly, when I stepped away from my last clinical position in 2017 and joined VCA in a regional medical director position, that actually surprised me that I was so used to seeing my people every day and knowing everybody, and then stepping into a field position where you don't have daily contact with your team, and then all of the hospitals are new. It can be really challenging to get used to and make that transition.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the great parts and what are some of the challenges of being a senior regional operations director?
Sure. I would say some of the challenges in my role can be anywhere from the complexity of managing diverse teams, ensuring challenges through crisis management and team dynamics. But I say that in the same sentence that I'll say that those are some of the great parts too, because you get to see your teams really come together during a crisis management. And that could be emergency with, fire, with a gas leak where you have to evacuate your whole hospital and shut down and inform clients. So the great part is also that because you get to see everyone come together, join as a community, and really help each other out. One of my great parts is my field team. So I get to share this journey with my regional medical director and also my regional technician director, and us together. The dynamic, oh my goodness, is amazing. Like to have that field team together, I would say is priceless, and it's probably one of the great things also.
Michelle, I'm glad that you mentioned the wildfires because your area was impacted by wildfires earlier this year, correct?
Yes. The biggest part of that was jumping in to help different rescue groups, that really needed the support to transport, to, help hold, to help reach out to the community if any clients and anybody actually in the community needed help with having a safe place for their pets, during a fire, because it's traumatic.
Well, thank you. And thank your hospitals for providing that service, which is a tremendous community service and volunteer effort. And part of what makes VCA special is that we've always done that. And I love that our hospitals come together to offer that kind of community support. When I joined VCA, I thought more of our hospitals would be alike, which really was a big misconception on my part. With your hospitals, tell me about some of the differences that make them unique, and why are these differences the secret sauce of VCA?
I will go from a 1-doctor hospital to a 20-doctor hospital, 24 hours with specialty care involved. And just to see that dynamic of the different associates that we have is the secret sauce, truly. Because every hospital has its own dynamic culture and the way they take care of their community. And so I would say that is probably one of the eye-opening things as I have grown in my role and also have experienced and supported all of the different hospitals.
In your position, you mentor hospital managers and medical directors, but then also newer regional operators. What does quality mentorship look like for those positions so that we can continue to grow great people who want to do multi-site management?
I love this question because mentorship is probably one of the most important things to me. I wouldn't be where I'm at without great mentors along the way. So it is important to find a mentor that believes in you, find one person that you're able to be honest with. And that's kind of what I love to do, because I really think that we have a responsibility to help grow our next leaders, whether that is the next hospital manager or the next regional operations director, whichever direction they would like to go. I think we have a really big responsibility to help the next leader grow. I would like to share last week, so happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Last week, we had our opening event, and it's across different segments of our company. And I have to share one of the panelists. She said it beautifully. She said, mentorship is like holding the ladder sturdy for the next.
Wow.
And it was just a profound statement for me. When I heard that, I'm like, that is exactly how I feel. But mentorship is extremely important. And I think we all have that responsibility of holding the ladder sturdy for the next.
I absolutely love that. I've never heard that. I absolutely love that analogy and think it really is perfect. And really by your story, starting in the kennel and veterinary medicine and holding almost all of the positions in a veterinary hospital and learning, you must have had that kind of mentorship along the way as well.
Yes, absolutely. I had some wonderful mentors along the way.
So I'm glad that you brought up Hispanic Heritage Month. And as you know, we've historically had a lack of diversity in veterinary medicine. And at VCA, we're really working hard to try to shift that so that our profession reflects society as a whole. I'm curious about your journey as you entered the profession. What were some of the challenges and some of the bright spots that you encountered along the way?
So some of my challenges, I would say, for me is not seeing someone who looked like me in veterinary medicine. So I was a little worried, getting into the profession if I chose correctly, if I was not going to be scared to say, what my ideas were, what my thoughts were. And I also didn't have someone in my family who was familiar with veterinary medicine, so it was getting into that was kind of like my own journey. But going through that, I would say my Nana and Tata, so they're my great-grandparents.
Okay.
So they were born in 1912.
All right.
So they helped raise me and my siblings. And I'm sure my Nana thought I was a little weird because I was that kid that loved all the animals. And you better believe you were not bringing pets inside her house. So that was a big no.
That's been a big cultural shift across many societies.
Absolutely. So, and fast forward to today, where my babies, my fur babies, lay on my couch, they lay on the bed. So my Nana is probably, yes, I was probably that weird one that loved animals, trying to sneak animals in, all those good things. Being raised with the help of my great-grandparents and my parents, but I was raised with a strong work ethic and just naturally being a happy person. So, with that, I think that's what helped me get through the times when I didn't see people who look like me.
We talk a lot in VCA about hometown care, which also invites a spirit of inclusivity and hospitality. As we think about how we serve our clients and patients, why is diversity, equity, and inclusion an important focus in how we provide hometown care?
It's very important because our hometown care is providing that personal touch and fostering those close relationships within the community that we serve. A big component to that is reflecting the community and our staff in that hospital also. That is huge. This helps by making our clients feel more comfortable and understood, while helping to reduce the barriers that can come with patient care. So diversity can be through our experiences, our culture, and even our skill set, and each as important as the other. I carry this passion of diversity with me in regards to my hospital teams because I feel team success is directly related to the diversity of the team. And that helps us provide and maintain that hometown care within our community.
Another part of our culture is this notion of bringing your whole self to work. To support this, we've developed associate resource groups. And I know you're one of the co-leads for our Latinx Associate Resource Group. What kinds of activities have been undertaken?
So this is a very exciting, passionate work for me. This past weekend, we were part of Homeboy Industries, a group based out of Los Angeles. So we were part of their event on Saturday. So great event, 5K run, and also gets you out in the community to get to know members of the community. So we have collaborated with lots of segments of our company. We did a virtual session with high school students and just to kind of talk through different professional segments of veterinary medicine because some high school students may not know what they want to do. And not everybody wants to be a veterinarian.
Right.
And we have so many other roles, important roles that are meaningful to the team at large. That might mean that they want to be a technician. And so we kind of did a virtual session with some high school students to kind of talk through that because it kind of opens their eyes to what they may not be aware of. I have 2 children of my own. They're in 5th and 6th grade. And just getting out to their schools to help expose veterinary medicine at a younger age. Because when I look back at my life, I did not know veterinary medicine existed when I was in grade school. So now it's pushing forward, how can we expose them to veterinary medicine and the possibilities? And then also when they're in college. So our group, we are a sponsorship for the Latinx Veterinary Medical Association, and we sponsor 3 scholarships each year to students. So that helps them pursue their career and their schooling in veterinary medicine. So at all levels, grade school, high school, in college, we do a lot of collaboration. That's really important to me to be out there in our communities.
So I want to talk about something else that's somewhat related, but also a little bit different, in that earlier this year, we took an important step in VCA to help remove communications barriers and increase access to care by deploying across all of our hospitals an over-the-phone interpretation service called Lionbridge. This is a translation tool that can be used in the veterinary examination room to communicate with clients in 380 different languages, including American Sign Language. I understand you were a huge advocate for this project and was hoping you could tell me a little bit more about Lionbridge and how you became so passionate about it.
This has been a focus for our associate resource group because we want to help by knocking down the language barriers to strengthen our client relationships, building confidence in our associates in our hospitals also. And I do like to share just a little story of why I'm so passionate about this particular project. When I was in my hospital as a hospital manager, I took American Sign Language in college, and we had several clients who were thrilled. It was amazing when my customer service representatives would come get me at my office and say, "Hey, we have a client in room 2. I'm like, "Absolutely." And when I would walk in the room and greet them in American Sign Language, the spark, oh my gosh, the spark in their eyes and just the body language, when they rest their shoulders and they're like, you can feel like they took a breath
right
for just a moment, like, oh my goodness. And so I want everyone to feel like this, no matter what language you speak. So with the future of veterinary medicine in mind, I always think, what would the future look like if our clients could find veterinary care for their fur babies, regardless of the language they speak?
Wow.
And what an amazing role that would be. And so this is what Lionbridge is helping us do. They provide that by phone, for American Sign Language by video. It is just amazing to be able to reach more clients to help care for their fur babies.
So I've been wondering, does Lionbridge have specific medical terminology in the different languages, including sign language that they use? Is this a medical communication tool, or is this an overall communication tool that we're using for a medical application?
For just providing over-the-phone interpretation for non-English speaking clients, they support, I believe, over 350 different languages globally. So that's why it's extremely important.
Well, Michelle, it has been lovely to speak with you. We are about at the end of our time today. And I think in closing, I'd like to know if you're working with someone who maybe they're at the hospital level and they're considering jumping into a multi-site management role, what words of advice would you have for them?
I have a few things I would share. One is have a good work ethic and an amazing attitude. That is your everyday, how can I help? Who can I help? We're going to get through anything together. And don't be afraid to be told no, especially when you're sharing ideas or asking for something. Sometimes it's just not the right time yet.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Don't take things personal. That was a big one for me. That was one of my mentors shared that with me many years ago. And I have to tell you, it is probably one of the most important things in what we do each and every day. Keep your head up and never listen to the self-doubt that will come through your mind from time to time as you're going through. Like, can I do this? Yes, you can. Most of all, and I share this with my daughters. They're 10 years old and 11 years old. Most of all, if anything, be kind to everyone that you encounter along your journey, because the world needs more of that. And I always tell them, let's help spread kindness around. like the confetti that gets stuck everywhere after a good rain.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, Michelle, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your experience and expertise and your heart as well. And again, I love the analogy of holding the ladder and helping people. And we're really lucky to have you as a part of VCA.
Oh, I appreciate you, Dr. Kerl. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it and learned a few helpful tips. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and listen to our previous episodes to hear the many valuable insights and lessons from our past guests. Don't forget to leave a review for today's episode and share with friends. Make sure to follow VCA Animal Hospitals on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram to stay in the loop. For more inspiring stories, visit our website at vcavoice.com.